Well, guys, it's almost Easter. And today the First Lady announced that the theme of this year's White House Easter egg roll will be education. Already off to a great start, I think. But it should be fun. All day long, kids will have the option of searching for eggs or President Biden after he wanders off. And you go...
Yes. Or trying to correct the spelling or the misspelling of the word education. Democrats love misspelling things deliberately. They're very big on misspelling. Making their contributions to illiteracy in the United States because, they're making things better. Well, happy Good Friday to you, and welcome. It's a strange time in America. Not in the best way necessarily, but a lot happened in New York yesterday. 3 Democrat presidents, 1 current, 2 former, gathered at Radio City Music Hall with Stephen Colbert, a Democrat Party apparatchik paid many millions by CBS to be a representative of the Democratic Party on late-night TV and convey the message of the Democrat Party as part of their propaganda apparatus, the information dominance that has been secured by the left in the United States of America. It's tragic for a whole range of reasons. But while the Democrat presidents, Joe Biden and his former boss, the guy who said never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to beep things up, that was Barack Obama. He was there with Joe Biden at Radio City Music Hall, and so was Bill Clinton, who was really just looking for dates. He's still looking for dates. Can you believe that guy? That's the miracle of pharmaceuticals, I think. He's looking for dates, and the 3 of them were at Radio City Music Hall, and they were raising, the news media is very excited, a record number of dollars in the history of American political fundraising. $25 or $26 million raised from one event. You could pay $500,000 to hang out with Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. And if you paid the $500,000, in fact, even for the low price of $100,000, you could allegedly get your photo taken. I think if you brought your best girl, you have to pay twice, though. It's per person. Get your picture taken with 3 Democrat catastrophes. And for $100,000, Annie Leibovitz, the famous wealthy photographer to the stars, would take your photograph. Then you could put it on your shelf at home and say, oh, yes, this is my Annie Leibovitz photograph, me with Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton at Radio City Music Hall in New York. It was a big fundraiser. I gave him $100,000. Or, as the Washington Post, and now today, I was talking about this yesterday, the New York Post also has many of the subjects paid $500,000 for the privilege of getting your Annie Leibovitz photo with 3 Democrat presidents, one of which really despises America. The other one couldn't find America on a map. And the third is just looking for dates at any given moment. Remarkable stuff. And while they were doing that, they were interrupted multiple times by the pro-Hamas Democrat Party people. They love terrorism and they hate the Jews, just like at Harvard and the George Washington University. Anti-Semitism is fashionable in Democrat Party circles. They say it's not anti-Semitism, but it is. And so they were interrupted repeatedly by left-wing radicals in the audience. I don't know how much they paid to get in, the radicals, but it's somebody else's money. It's OPM, other people's money. And it doesn't matter to them because they didn't earn it. So spending other people's money is a classic Democrat/socialist/lefty characteristic. Other people's money is the path to success for the American left and the left everywhere, for that matter. So this was going on, and there were mobs outside of Radio City Music Hall that had some weird chants yesterday, didn't they? They had some weird chants, and they were denouncing Joe Biden, but not Barack Obama, because he can slow the rise of the oceans, and they know that he hates the Jews too. But mobs outside, Jew-hating mobs outside, and they love Hamas. They love the massacre. You see this, the Associated Press got a big award. They got a big photography award, news photography award, for a photograph of a young woman that was kidnapped and raped and tortured and murdered by the Hamas animals. And an Associated Press photographer got a picture of a little slice of the action. And so they got a big award, a very prestigious award for this. It's remarkable. They're not on our side. They're not on our side. So we got that going for us. But while the Democrats were raising a record amount of money, $25 or $26 million at a single fundraiser, exciting and titillating the American news media because they also contribute in myriad ways to the Democrat Party. President Trump was also in New York. But unlike the Democrat presidents, President Trump was actually invited to attend the funeral of NYPD officer Jonathan Diller and to spend time with the widow and the one-year-old boy that was left behind, or that were left behind, and was embraced very warmly by the Diller family and by the police who were there in great numbers for the funeral of Officer Jonathan Diller. And it's a perfect representation, really, of the differences between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, between Trump and the really Obama-Biden Democrat Party, because you know that Obama's the puppet master behind Joe Biden, who is nothing but a sock puppet living in the White House as kind of a prank on all of us. It's a remarkable thing to see. But perfect representation. President Trump supporting the police, the Democrat Party supporting the cop killer. You see, you can be on the side of the cop or on the side of the cop killer. The Republican Party and President Trump on the side of the cop and the police officers and the family, and the Democrat Party on the side of the cop killer. You know, they released him. This killer had been arrested 21 times in the past 21 times. And his co-conspirator, two animals were arrested there in New York. And the Democrats are the ones that keep putting the animals back on the street to kill and to attack and so on. Perfect representation. And also, starkly bare, last night was the fact that the Democrats are out on the street cheering for Hamas. There they see the Republican Party and Trump on the side of Israel, our ally representing civilization itself. Hamas representing the death of civilization, nay, the murder of civilization. Democrat Party chanting for Hamas, Democrat Party ignoring the murdered police officer and trying to, get a bail-free release of that. And I don't think they have specifically in this case sought the no bail release of the cop killer, because that would be politically embarrassing. But this cop killer, with his long record, should be facing the death penalty. If you're going to have the death penalty for anything, it should be for murdering police officers. And the Democrats will come to the defense of. And also, speaking of Democrats, there's in New York City, don't go to New York City. In New York City, there are men, not a single man, but a number of men, multiple men going around the city punching women in the face. And it's a pattern, but it's not. They're not looking for one guy. They're looking for multiple guys, different guys. Men going around punching women in the face in New York City. It's remarkable. And a dim-witted Democrat woman in New York, a bigwig, raised her hand and said, "Hey, wait a minute, where are the men in all of this?" Because she's outraged that Democrat men are going around the city of New York punching women in the face just out of the blue, no reason, women they don't know, and then moving on, and nobody's doing anything about it. There are no men demonstrating their toxic masculinity, going after the men that are punching women in the face for no reason. And that's because, I'll get to the story, but this woman, Democrat woman in New York, says, "Where are the men? Where are the men? Why aren't men doing anything?" And everybody responded pretty quickly, because she's too dim-witted to know what's going on as a result of her own policies and her own views. Pointed out very quickly, well, there was a Marine named Daniel Penny on a train, and when a mentally ill lunatic that everybody knew in the neighborhood as a mentally ill lunatic, and Al Sharpton pretended like he was his friend, the Reverend Al Charlatan, and Daniel Penny tried to stop the lunatic that was terrorizing women and children and old and young on a subway train. And when Daniel Penny was fighting with the man, the crazy person, the man died, and it was a tragic situation. Daniel Penny was arrested, put in cuffs, and charged with manslaughter, and the Democrats are trying to put him in prison for decades on end for trying to stand up for sanity and civility and civilization on a subway train, but the Democrats want to put him in prison for manslaughter. And that's because, he was demonstrating toxic masculinity. The Democrats, they view masculinity as a negative thing, except in women, of course, who grow beards. And, many of them have penises to Democrat women. It's a strange time to be a Democrat, to be sure. So we've got all these interesting things going on in New York, and they do point up the differences between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. The Democrats go around punching women in the face and then complain that men with their toxic masculinity aren't doing anything about it. And that's because everybody knows that the Democrats will try to put you in prison forever if you do try to do anything about it, if you do stand up. By the way, I work with a wonderful woman at Newsmax, Carly, who's just the greatest. And she was on a train in New York City maybe 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, when a man stood up and walked over to a woman and punched the woman in the face on the train. And my friend Carly, a great producer at Newsmax, wonderful person, said that one guy, not only one guy just said, "Whoa," right? And then the psychopath walked over to the guy and gave him a huge whopping smack across the face, just right across the face, because he said, "Whoa." And now this is a subway train. It's the Daniel Penny situation. What is a toxic masculine man supposed to do in this situation, knowing that the Democrats will hang you from a yardarm in Central Park if you actually stand up and do anything about it? Because you know that the establishment Democrats are not on your side. They're not on the side of civilization. They're not on the side of Israel, and they're on the side of Hamas. They're not on the side of Daniel Penny. They're on the side of the crazy person that's terrorizing everybody on the train. They're not on the side of the women walking down the sidewalk. They're really, in the end, on the side of the men that are punching women in the face. It's remarkable. They're not on the side of the police officer that's shot. They're on the side of the criminals roaming the street. The Democrat Party is not a civilized party anymore. It's left the reservation. It's quite extraordinary. But in the meantime, while they're chanting in favor of Hamas and interrupting Barack Obama, and how dare you interrupt Barack Obama, don't you know who he is? And Joe Biden and Bill Clinton in favor of Hamas. Just remarkable what the Democrat Party is, what the Democrat Party has become. They're on the wrong side of everything, everything. And again, the Republican Party, for all of its many shortcomings, had President Trump invited by the police to the funeral of Jonathan Dillard yesterday, and he went. Not a peep out of Joe Biden, not a peep out of Barack Obama, not a peep out of Bill Clinton, of course, because they're up to other things. Know what I'm saying? Remarkable stuff. So I've got a bunch of audio for you on that. Also, an update today on Evan Gershkovich, the Wall Street Journal reporter that was nabbed by Vlad the Impaler Putin in Russia and thrown into jail for being a Wall Street Journal reporter and doing a story about how bad the economy was in Russia. Threw him in jail. That was a year ago today that Evan Gershkovich, Wall Street Journal, was thrown in a Russian jail by Vlad the Impaler. And a year ago today. And Joe Biden hasn't gotten him out. It's remarkable. Also, I mentioned it yesterday, but in Oakland, California, not a nice city. It's a terrible city. Don't go there. A 102-year-old World War II veteran who's lived in Oakland pretty much all his life and lived in the same house for 80 years. His house is regularly vandalized. He's a 102-year-old World War II veteran. And Democrat punks come along with spray paint cans with red and black, and they spray paint his fence, cover it with graffiti. And now the city of Oakland wants to fine him more than $1,000, and then they're going to fine him every day if he doesn't go out at 102 and paint the fence that the Democrats have desecrated with graffiti, because, you know, Democrats. And I've got an update for you on that. Remarkable things. We got that. A couple of homages at the opening day of baseball at Orioles, the Orioles baseball game in Baltimore yesterday. Pretty good stuff. And I love this story. There's a woman I want to meet in Montgomery County. I want to buy her the beverage of her choice. A remarkable woman that carries a knife. She carries a knife, and she had to use it yesterday. A remarkable story of madness, of of nature, of rabies, and of a great woman who should get an award from the county, but will probably be brought up on charges by the Democrats there. We are at 888-630-9625. 888-630-9625. Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. Yeah, women walking around New York City getting punched in the face by randos because there are a lot of Democrats on the loose up there, and a lot of them don't like women, as it turns out. And they're violent, and they figure they can get away with it because they're in a Democrat city. And they hate the police, but they love the criminal. Just as every cop is a criminal and all the sinners saints. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. And why don't you hear this woman in Montgomery County with a knife that I want to meet. But right now, let's go to Angela calling from Montclair, Virginia. Angela, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris.
Angela.
And happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter and happy Good Friday to you. Thank you.
All right, great. And listen, the Democrats, they would never miss an opportunity the way you all will not just call it out, tell the truth. If those were Asian women, they would say Asian women were getting hit in the face. There are people attacking white women. There are people attacking the white kids in the schools, pushing white people off the platforms because it's open season on white people. And then, there's a speedy mental diagnosis at the scene of the crime. They're mentally ill, my foot. And I don't know what you all are going to do about this because it's getting worse, especially in the schools, even to the point they're not even reporting it anymore. And there's always this, the mother said that he was mentally ill, he was diagnosed. When did they call the mother? I believe none of the stuff that they're saying. I think you all need to do something, and I think all of us need to do something about it. One, let's just be real about what's happening. Let's just be real about that. Do you think if there was a white man beating up someone and a couple of black men got together and pulled him off, do you think they would even be arrested? Do you think they would be held as heroes? And you all, I shouldn't say you all like it's just a white problem. It's a societal problem, and it's just making the demonized white people to the point where people believe that it's fine to just attack.
Yeah, I think it's part of the Democrat Party's program right now. I'm glad you pointed that out. I hadn't even really looked at it that way, but you're right. I loved me 2 times. I'm going away. WUSA Channel 9 has a story, and WMAL in Washington, D.C. has the story too. But let me share this amazing story with you. And I do want to get back to the attacks on the sidewalks of New York. And Angela pointed out to me, and Angela is one of our OGs, one of our original listeners from the beginning of my Humble Radio broadcast. And I've met Angela. Angela's wonderful. And she pointed out something that honestly didn't occur to me. I'm not enough of a racist. I keep trying to think like a Democrat, but it usually doesn't work. I saw the women that were being punched in the face in New York City walking down the sidewalk, different women by different men. And it didn't actually occur to me, I apologize, that the women being punched are all white. They're all white. And what about the assailants? Are the assailants all white? And Angela pointed something out very important, that a couple of years ago, the news media was all over these allegations of Asian people being attacked across the country. Turns out it was roughly 100% African-American men attacking the Asian people. They left that out. They tried to blame it on Trump or something, but when it was Asian people being targeted, the news media focused on that in a laser-like way. Look, Asians are because we're a racist country, and it's all Democrats doing the attacking, and they leave that out. And it's overwhelmingly black males doing the attacking of Asian people, and they leave that out. They airbrush that out of the story. It's remarkable. And now I've got an update for you on this, but they are all white women. I saw the videos of women crying and going to the hospital because they've been attacked by big, strong men and punched in the face for no reason at all. and bystanders do nothing because the Democrats would put them in prison for a long time. So, they're taking the masculinity out of toxic masculinity. It's quite remarkable. Yeah, but it looks like they are racist attacks, but the news media, NBC Fake News actually did a story on it. They didn't play up that angle, I think, but they showed the video, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, all these women are white, and here's the guy that was arrested. One guy arrested anyway, and I'll share that with you coming up. But before, and Angela's right, had it been, and it's, white people it's open season on white people because the Democrats are such racists that they finally got around to themselves, Now the self-loathing white liberals, the Gulfstream Guevaras, limousine libs, remarkable stuff. But Angela made very important points that I'm a little too colorblind to have noticed right away, and I apologize for that. I keep trying. Remarkable. But, and they're all mental cases. Sure they are. They're Democrats. But we'll get to that. I want to get to this other story first. The WUSA, woman stabs coyote. This is the headline. Woman stabs coyote. This is in Montgomery County, Maryland. After animal attacks her in Montgomery County. What is this? The animal was shot and killed and will be tested for rabies, according to the police. The Democrats want to defund the police. They hate the police. They're on the side of the coyote in this case. 2 women were injured. It's like New York City. It's this goes with the New York City story because the rabid coyote is comparable to so many Democrats out there. But I was driving in my automobile yesterday, and it was, I think, 5:30 p.m., and WMAL newswoman extraordinaire Heather Curtis was on the air, and I heard this story, and I was driving, and I got to say, I burst out laughing when I heard it. Listen to the first half, because there's like one woman was attacked by a coyote, and then sometime later a second woman was attacked by a coyote in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is not exactly, Montana.
The search is on this hour for a coyote that attacked 2 women in separate locations in Montgomery County today. Police say the first was attacked while walking her dog on Patuxent Drive near the Watershed Park around 9:45 a.m. She was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
She was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening, but she was injured by an attacking coyote that they think is going to test positive for rabies in beautiful, bucolic, suburban Montgomery County, Maryland, which the Democrats have filled with MS-13 members that'll hack your daughter's hands off with machetes and things because the Democrats are making everything better. But I was listening, I was like, wow, a coyote. I mean, it's Montgomery County borders Washington, D.C., it surrounds a pretty good portion of Washington, D.C. And from where I am at this radio station, I could drive a golf ball into Montgomery County from the roof of this building. And so I heard that and I said, wow, that's pretty crazy. But wait, it gets better. And this is the woman I want to meet. I want to find this one. I think I want to buy her a cocktail, if not lunch. This woman carries a knife. She's out walking around probably because of MS-13. And she didn't see this coming. Here comes a rabid coyote attacking this nice lady in Montgomery County, Maryland.
Then around 3:45, another woman was attacked on Bell Road in Burtonsville. She was able to fight off the coyote by stabbing it. WMAL Sports. Tonight, the Caps play the Maple Leafs.
That was my favorite part. And then it's just a perfect transition from by stabbing it to we go to sports and the Caps play the Maple Leafs. That just made me laugh out loud, I've got to say. It was such a great delivery. And I love this woman, whoever this woman is. She's out walking, minding her own business, and she's attacked by a coyote in Montgomery County, Maryland at 3:45 p.m., right there in broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon. And what does she do? Does she go running, screaming, waving her hands in the air? Oh, no, she doesn't. She whips out a knife, and she stabs the damn rabid coyote that attacked her. We need more women like this woman. I love this woman. This woman should be in charge of something. She should get an award. And if she's listening, I want to talk to her. I want to invite her into the studio. We got to, give her a T-shirt or something. This woman deserves prizes. Wow, isn't that great? Give her a Cobra coffee mug or something like that. And the police say, and then because the police are great, not like the Democrats say, The police found the coyote, and they shot and killed the coyote because it's a crazy coyote attacking women. It didn't even attack men, just like Democrats on the sidewalks of New York. Isn't that amazing? Just remarkable. So God bless that woman. And they don't have her name in the stories that I've seen, but that woman she should have a parade. Honestly, if we lived in a more sane world, this woman would be a hero. She would be celebrated. She'd be a real celebrity, not like that Lizzo person. I'll take this woman any day of the week. Just great stuff. Stabbed the rabid coyote that attacked her. I love her. Come on. She's like a pioneer woman, frontiers woman. Which then she got back in her prairie schooner and headed west. What a remarkable story. Just love that. Yeah, and if you're out there, we're at Nice Lady with knife pack and Nice Lady in Montgomery County. I love it. We're at 888-630-9625. Call in to redeem your prize because that's great stuff. Now let's go to since there are rabid coyotes on the loose in New York City attacking women, just like in Montgomery County with the rabid coyotes here. The rabid coyotes in New York are bipedal, and they vote Democrat, however, which is kind of weird. NBC Fake News amazingly did a story on this last night because these are the sidewalks where they walk and where their wives and daughters walk because they live in New York City. A story is always more important when it happens to New York City. Like smoke out of Canadian wildfires can have everybody in Detroit and Chicago choking to death, and that's not a news story. But when it obstructs their view from their skyscraper in New York, then it becomes a big story. I see how that works. And on the streets and sidewalks of New York and in the subways of New York, where people are being thrown in front of, as Angela was talking about, subway trains and being murdered. And does anybody look at the race of the people being attacked and the people doing the attacking? Because I know that if there were MAGA hat wearing white people going around doing this, that would be the lead. That'd be the lead part of the story there. It'd be the lead sentence in the story. But NBC Fake News doing their coverage of women being randomly white women, which they don't mention, being randomly punched in the face on the sidewalks of New York.
I was literally just walking, and a man came up and punched me in the face.
Stories from New York City women going viral on TikTok.
You're going viral on TikTok.
Punched by some man on the sidewalk.
Their videos detailing how they're allegedly getting punched in the face
completely
unprovoked. Several women have posted these videos describing similar allegations in just the last week. Hallie Kate posted about an assault on Monday. She says she had to be treated at a local medical facility for injuries to the left side of her face.
Allegedly.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad. I can't even talk.
Without evidence. They should really say without evidence. They're putting a lot of qualifiers in there. She claims, yeah, well, look at her face. And she's sobbing and emotional. Have you noticed any continuity in the race of the women being attacked on the sidewalks of New York? And what have you learned about the men who are doing the attacking?
Olivia Brand posting updates on her own experience earlier this month after commenters on TikTok started connecting the two cases.
I did just get a call from the New York Police Department detective.
The NYPD says it's investigating the incidents, but says it's unclear right now whether they're connected.
Yeah,
Police announced one assault arrest related to Hallie's case, 40-year-old Skyboki Stora, taken into custody.
Skyboki Stora was taken into custody. It's Skyboki. Skyboki Stora. Skyboki Stora posts videos of himself online. He's a very large, muscular African-American man who goes on crazy rants and he posts them on Instagram and stuff.
He also bothers people on the subway and harasses cops and takes video of it.
He bothers people on the harasses people on the subway and harasses cops. And again, I work with a wonderful woman at Newsmax named Carly who was on the train days ago when a man punched a woman in the face on the train. And I don't think it's Skyboki Stora. It's just a different Democrat. A lot of Democrats marauding around New York City making it a living hell.
Other users posting videos expressing shock, fear, and even sharing tips for staying safe, like not being distracted on your phone while you're out and about.
That's a good idea. And maybe carry a knife like this lady, but, in Montgomery County that fended off the rabid coyote. Since the rabid coyotes in New York City again, wear Nikes, and the rabid coyote in Montgomery County not wearing Nikes. Remarkable stuff. And Skyboki Sora, 40 years old, was arrested on Wednesday. And police say that Skyboki Sora randomly attacked young Kate, a 23-year-old woman. She was walking down 7th Avenue, 17th Street in New York City. And he's facing a misdemeanor assault and harassment charge. No, he's a terrorist. He's terrorizing the city and terrorizing it. It's a gender assault and a racist assault, and it's a hate crime. But they don't charge him with any of that. In fact, if he was arrested Sunday, I'll bet $1 he's back on the sidewalk already.
It's not the first time this type of incident has been reported in the city.
When videos like that first started popping up, everyone was sending them to me and commenting and adding me and saying look, this girl went through something similar.
Elio Wagner says she was punched in the face by someone she didn't know last September.
It's been going on for some time now, and in New York City, it's kind of no big deal. Skyboki Stora posts videos of himself, and he posted this video of himself harassing a police officer in New York City.
Hey, yeah, that's right, man. That's good for you, man. You finally harassing a white person, man. Good job, man. I'm Skyboki, Marcus Garvey's grandson. You got what's coming to you, man. Yeah.
He's Skyboki. He's Marcus Garvey's grandson. He's not. He's nothing of the kind, of course. But that's Skyboki Stora. New York City is not safe. It's not a civilized city. It has been turned into an uncivilized city by Democrat Party policies. Anti-police, defund the police, pro-crime, pro-criminal. You got your George Soros prosecutors in place who don't prosecute crimes and don't keep the bad guys off the street. They put them back on the street to punch women in the face and to shoot and kill police officers. And on and on. And in fact, I need to correct something. I believe I said earlier that President Trump yesterday was at the funeral for police officer Jonathan Diller. And my best girl pointed out by way of text, hey, dope, it was a wake yesterday. The funeral is actually tomorrow on Saturday, the day before Easter Sunday. And I apologize for that inaccuracy. Unlike CNN, I immediately correct. But we've got this remarkable thing going on in New York City. And man, oh man, what a world it is the Democrats are creating. They're not on our side. They're not on the side of civilization. They're on the side of Hamas and of cop killers and of women punchers and not the police and not Israel. And they're on the side of coyotes and not women. Oh, how dare the woman stab the coyote? I'll bet that we've got people out there already blaming the woman. Just crazy. All right, we've got it looks like an interesting call. Let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Greg calling from Howard County, Maryland. Greg, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Mr. Plant, good morning.
Good morning.
First off, I'd like to say, first time I've ever called a radio show, and you're by far my favorite. Love you on the radio, love you on Newsmax. Great guy. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you very much.
But, yeah, yesterday morning, I've been Howard County, there's a park, Schoolie Mill Park. I've been taking my dogs up there in the morning for about 12 years, 3:30 in the morning. I've got two new German Shepherds. They're about a year old. They're still young, but, not fully developed yet. And we were up there yesterday morning about 3:30, and out of nowhere comes and now there's been coyote at that park. You can hear them up there sometimes because I'm up there early in the morning. You hear them howling, you hear them yelping. But have never seen one. Out of nowhere comes this coyote, starts attacking my German Shepherd, and you could hear the pack back in the woods yelping. So my thoughts are it's trying to separate one of the German Shepherds to get it to run into the woods. That seems like it was doing. I did not have a knife on me. The only thing I had was a cloth leash. So I pull this leash out. I'm chasing this beast around, trying to whip it with this leash as my dogs are yelling and fighting. One of the dogs was trying to get into the fight, but it was like mayhem. I ended up slipping in the wet grass. The thing got hold of my leg, started biting my leg.
The coyote was biting your leg?
It was biting my leg. I was able to kick it in the face with my left boot. It let go. And at that time, I got back up, jumped back up, and I see I have a male and a female. I see my male running towards the woods where the pack is, so I'm like, oh, no. So I start running down that way, and what had happened was it was chasing my female to the woods. My female's actually a pretty smart dog. There's a little pond there. She jumped in the pond. So she didn't run into the woods. The coyote ended up running into the woods. I was able to get my mail, and we ended up getting out of the park.
Get my mail. That is a wild and crazy story. What is going on with the coyotes?
They're out of control. Neither of the dogs was hurt. I've got bite marks on my leg. I dislocated my shoulder when I fell. So.
Wow, you got to go get checked for rabies too.
No, I was at the hospital yesterday. Got my shoulder popped back in. Got my first set of rabies shots. So I got to go through the rabies shots.
Wow.
I do not think that animal was rabid, though. I really don't. But
I hope not.
Going through the rabies shots for sure. I think it was just an opportune hunt.
Somehow the Democrats are behind this. I just know it. And must be.
They are.
Yeah, releasing
Democratic coyotes.
Right, they're releasing rabid coyotes into the woods because they're restoring nature. They want to live in a pre-Columbian North America. Return to our roots. No electricity. Wow, that is an amazing story. What is going on here? We are going to need prairie schooners and rifles soon. Nuts. Greg, thank you for calling in with that amazing story. What an amazing story by Greg. Howard County, by the way, does border Montgomery County in Maryland. I don't know if it's the same coyote, but going to have to, it's got to be open season on coyotes. I think that might be a good idea. Hey, we've got a lot of news out of New York yesterday. President Trump doing the right thing and representing America and Americans and civilization, while the Democrats, money-grubbing, billionaire-slurping, Democrats that they are, lefties that they are, with Barack Obama showing Joe Biden around the stage and Bill Clinton looking in the audience for dates. Took in $25 or $26 million. The media is very proud. It's a record one-day grab. I've got a lot on that coming right up.